have noticed that my last video I had the exact same clothes on. And that is because I am filming these two videos on the same day. Just to clarify. So today I am going to talk about something a little more serious that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's probably going to be in a 3-part series, I guess you could say. I mean, I wouldn't call it a series, but I mean, for lack of a better word, I will use that word, series. And I'm going to talk about some things that I have gone through for really my whole life. And I'm going to start with the least personal, least sensitive kind of topic and end with the most personal. And so to start with, I'm going to talk about a language disorder. And the language disorder that we're talking about is called mixed expressive receptive language disorder. Now, I was diagnosed with this when I was in the 7th grade, so I was 12, 13, around there. I took off my sweater because it was way too hot in here. I had my heater on because it was like really cold earlier today and now it's getting really hot, so I had to take it off. But anyways, back to the seriousness of this video. Now, I was diagnosed with mixed receptive-expressive language disorder when I was in 7th grade, so I was around 12 to 13, and I will try to explain to you as best as I possibly can what mixed expressive receptive language disorder is. Now, it is a disorder in which you have trouble expressing yourself through communication, meaning that, say, you mean to say something but you say something completely different. You may mix up verbs, words, you could forget a word just randomly, like so many things can happen, and you also have trouble understanding. That's the receptive part of the disorder. That means like listening to people talk to you and it's harder to understand right away exactly what they mean. Usually it takes me a few times to go through it in my head before I can understand it better, and sometimes that also comes in the form of reading a book and maybe not completely understanding it. The comprehension thing with reading is a little more difficult with me and other people who have what I have. I know some of you probably have not heard of that. It's not completely common, but I know plenty of you probably have. And I'm just gonna talk a little bit about it and about my experience with it. So like I said earlier, I was diagnosed with this when I was in grade 7. And the reason I was diagnosed with this was because of how difficult of a time I was having with keeping up with my schoolwork and talking to people in general. Okay, so when you have trouble expressing yourself through language, it's extremely difficult at times to say what you want to say, even though you kind of know what you want to say. So, like, I hope you understand this, but this kind of thing is not controllable. You can't control it. So sometimes you may completely understand something, sometimes it can be just horrible and it takes you like 5 times to go through this phrase in your head to understand it. The same thing with the expressive part of it, and looking for words and losing words in your head and all of that. And I was showing the symptoms quite a bit, and I was not very happy with this. How would I put this? I don't think of this now, but when I was younger, it felt honestly like I was less than somebody else because I didn't understand what they were saying, and everybody else seemed to understand, and I didn't. And I ended up losing a lot of friends. People wouldn't stay in touch with me because, I mean, I understand it. People usually don't understand why someone might be constantly making an error, or why I would just stand there and look at this person after they said something, and they would be wondering, like, why isn't she saying anything? And the reason I did that was because I was thinking in my head. I was thinking, what did they say? Like, I need to go through this in my head. It's basically like people with a brain that does not have this issue can decode these phrases, and through a receptive and expressive language, and they can easily do that in like tiny little amount of time. Like, snap my fingers, you got it. Me takes like 5 times that amount of time. And when I was younger and it was just kind of appearing, it was really getting on my nerves, because like I said before, you can't control it. It just kind of happens. So my parents took me to it was actually a psychiatrist who ended up diagnosing me and found out this is what I have. Though I was lucky because I also found out that I have amazing memory. Some kind of quality in me is a little like lower and doesn't work as well. Like in the brain, it's kind of wonky, but then like for me, my memory is amazing. Like, I remember things really easily, and that kind of thing usually happens when people have this kind of thing. They usually, since they're low in comprehension, say, and understanding what words mean and phrases mean, then they're usually really good at something else, and for me it's memory. So I don't really have much else to say about this. I just wanted to talk about it because it is kind of a little bit of an introduction to the more serious things that went on in my life, especially when I was younger, and this is kind of what brought it all about, was this language disorder. And so yeah, that's why sometimes I mess up what I say. That's why I freeze in mid-sentence. That's why I look all around. I'm thinking, I'm losing words. Like I've gone to speech therapy in the past. I went all the way through it. Like, I finished it, and I'm so much better than I have been like when I was in 7th grade and first diagnosed with it. It was bad then, but I got really lucky, and my parents were able to pay for speech therapy and have me go through, and it was a good experience because now I am doing so much better with that, and that is now the least of my worries, and I almost forget I have it every day. So that was just a little story about my mixed expressive receptive language disorder. It's kind of an interesting disorder, but yeah, so just so you guys know, that's why I make mistakes quite a bit in my speech, and I thought you guys deserve to know this, and it, like I said before, it kind of leads into the more serious things I want to talk about. So if any of you guys know about this disorder, or if you have dealt with it before, if known somebody who's dealt with it themselves, feel free to tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me through this. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Bye!